When it comes to making comics, there's a question to be asked. Would you still be making comics if you weren't getting paid for it? And for me, the answer is yes. I was making comics, many comics, granted, and the DIY set before I was ever doing anything through Kablam or even putting out PDFs and stuff like that. I was actually making comics for myself, to express myself, to express stories, to get the stories out there. You can do it in other forms. You could write it as a novel. You do just nothing but text. You can do an ebook. You can do animation, CGI, hand drawn. You can make little short films in the woods about people, aliens coming down and threatening the world, and you got to destroy them, and bad editing, bad plug-in effects and everything like that. But a comic, you can do this with unlimited budget. It just takes your skill, time, and the ability to express that onto the page, to express like a world blowing up, to express going through multiple dimensions, people's faces melting off, someone punching someone's skeleton out of their body or whatever. You can do that in a comic. Trying to do that in real life, I mean, you can be creative and very practical, and you make this. It's actually a body made out of cake mix, and then you can smash the skull and make it look like, oh my god, it's so terrible, even though it's really just a skull, a fake skull from the aquarium section of like a Walmart or PetSmart, and it's like, oh, you cracked it already. You put hairline cracks in it. You filled it with K Rose syrup, and then put some kind of cake mix on top to make like a sand castle out of cake mix and glue and whatever, make it look like a human face, and then crush it. That kind of thing. You can have a little fun, be a little creative, and do your little short films or whatever. But it's going to look like a short film. It's going to be as you got to edit it and you got to do all this in that comic. Straightforward. But I'd still be making comics even without money. I'd be making as many as I would normally do without, like, it's, in some ways it would be making more smaller, shorter comics, 6 pages, 8 pages, 14-page stories. But I think there's people that they only see a benefit. It's like, well, if I'm only getting paid, it's like they don't have a passion for comics. I have a passion for comics, and it does border on an obsession. It does border on, you don't want to say psychosis, but I would be making comics no matter what. I've drawn comic strips, granted, with chalk on people's driveways. I was at a couple years back. I was at a Memorial Day party, and waiting for the fireworks and everything. I finished eating, was talking to some people, and it's like, well, you do comics? I said, yeah, I do comics. Like, yeah, what do you mean do comics? Like comic strips? So you want to see a comic strip? I can make one right now. And it's like, well, you got paper? So I don't need paper. I got that chalk over there. And so I grabbed a piece of chalk and I started drawing. I did a 2-panel comic strip, on the concrete. And that kind of thing, it was easy. I mean, it was like it was just a simple thing. It's like this guy's looking for his brain, and his brain comes up behind him and says, "Why'd you leave me at the store?" And it was like a stupid little thing, but it was kind of funny. And I just think you do that, or you can do something serious, or you do something horrific. That's the great thing about comics. You can do pretty much anything. You're not restricted to that. It's just your ideas and ability to express those ideas onto the page. And I find it unfortunate. There's a lot of people. It's like, I'd only do comics if the money's there. And it's like you see these people that, these amazing artists that people loved. That they'll go to play. You'll go make concept art for video games and character design stuff for video games and movies and TV and costumes for terrible movies. It's like, wow, you're an amazing artist, but you worked on this terrible Disney crap. But I know get why it pays better than comics, and will always pay better than comics. And it's unfortunate. It's like, okay, I get that, that's how you make your money, but you're telling me over like the last 10 years of not really doing comics, you haven't done like a couple of pages here and there for a comic that you're really passionate about. They're not passionate about comics. And I think that passion can turn into something, you know, kind of loony. You're a little bit of a lunatic if you're not careful. And you try to temper that, but that lack of passion in a lot of these people, it's like, I won't do comics unless I'm paid, like up front, or even like really up front. Because like, well, I can't take the time. Like, so you tell me you have no free time to like thumbnail out some pages, maybe do a panel here, panel there, panel here, panel there over a period, a couple months, a couple years even. It's it's unfortunate, but I think there's a lot of people out there like that, and especially in the quote unquote comics industry. And I I'd rather see someone passionate, even if they were on the borderline of being nutty, than someone that's just, oh, he's such an amazing artist and all this and that, but he doesn't do comics. He'll do design work for some crappy, Star Wars film, or he'll do for this crappy video game that is, just packed full of microtransactions and everything else, which he has no say in, of course. But it's like you're wasting my, you're kind of wasting that potential and wasting in a way your life if you ever want to make comics. You're only going to get older. You're only going to be able to make so many comics. Like maybe every couple years, maybe do like a 48 page one shot or something like that. Put that out hardcover. Like make some deal with some French publisher and then put it here and get it translated into English or something. I don't know. But do something if you actually have a passion for comics, if you actually enjoy comics. No, I really like comics. Like, what do you mean by that? You like taking the money to make comics, but don't actually like making the comics. And I'd rather see the people that would do it even without money, no guaranteed up fronts. But I get it. People got to pay the bills, but hey, maybe find a way to skirt around that every now and then. But that's my 2 cents on that. What do you think? Do you think there's a lack of passion in comics that maybe that's a good thing in some regards? Because there's people that would, they would die and kill for these characters possibly. Hopefully not. But what do you think? Just let me know in the comments. Thanks for listening, and have yourself a good one.